So a few of the things that were shared uh, had to do with just the nature of investing. And I've learned a very difficult lesson because I was looking at this as though it were a long-term type situation. And not all investments are long-term situations. So when you have a 401k, that's readily accepted as a long-term investment, even though because of the research that we've done, we can see how those types of long-term investments are flawed just because of the percentage of monies that are taken out of the accounts by those who are facilitating. And then you have the inflation tax and other issues that are involved in them. So though while they may seem secure, they're not actually a safe place to store your assets for reasons that we understand now. So what he was saying was that in these types of situations, what you want to do is make sure that you pull your seed money out. And there's some type of 50-50 rule that he advocated as well. And I think what the 50-50 rule was that you may take out 50% profits and leave 50% in to continue to generate returns based on the interest rates that are involved in that situation. So had I taken that advice 2 years ago, I would have gotten what I invested in this program back and then some. There was a point in time when I was earning $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a week. And at that point, I should have been taking some of that out just because you want to be able to have a diversity in your portfolio. And the funds that were being taken out could have been used to purchase other assets that could, instead of depreciate, appreciate. So that's the lesson in this. Moving forward, I think it would be wise for all of us who are invested in cryptocurrency to take an approach. And again, this is information, education, and entertainment only. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not in a position to give you financial advice. I can only tell you based on my own experience. So that's just a word to the wise, those of us who are in some of these risky kinds of investments. We do have Union View. I don't see Union View as risky as an investment because of the fact that they are diverse in terms of their asset classes. Not only are they in Forex and crypto, but they're also in precious metals and equities and some other things. So with that, there may be a certain level of security, but I don't see anything wrong with taking a similar approach in terms of, taking some things out so that, at a certain point, you want to be where you are playing with house money and you're not exposed to any types of losses when it comes to your own personal resources. So that's my soapbox for today. I'm going to go ahead and initiate the presentation and we'll get things moving. Those of you who are here, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. There are so many other things that we could be doing on a beautiful day like today, but folks are serious. I know I'm serious, and I'm assuming that the folks who are on this call are serious as well. So let's do what we can to expand our personal pies and create some wealth that we can pass down to future generations. This is Team WBC. It's a wealth building community where our mantra is progress through positivity. We're a community of like-minded individuals with an interest in building wealth. We're not financial advisors. All investing carries risks, so never invest more than you are willing to lose. This presentation is for entertainment, education, and information purposes. It's not a pyramid scheme, multi-level marketing, direct sales, or any type of scam. There is no auto ship involved in what we do. There's no recruiting and there are no dues. We have a Telegram group. We are up to 545 people at present, and membership in our group is free. The app is free. You download the app from your favorite app store, whether it be the Apple Store or Google or whatever, and just install it on your phone. And then you can use the Team WBC link to join our group. If the person who invited you to this meeting has you stored in their contacts and they're in Telegram, then they can add you to the group. If you're new to the group, just drop your name in the chat. Let us know who you are, who invited you, and if you have any experience trading Forex or crypto. And as a courtesy to others, please mute your microphone. We have it set up now so that when folks come into the meetings, the microphones are automatically muted, so we shouldn't have some of the interruptions that we've had in the past. But sometimes, for whatever reason, your mic may get unmuted and it causes a distraction. So we appreciate your cooperation with that. So it is no mystery to those of us on the call that America is facing some unprecedented challenges. When you look at history, you'll see that money and finance have been ways to control the masses, and banks have been the gatekeepers. It was Meyer Amschel Roth who said, "Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws." Well, part of the reason that he would say that is because folks on his level were controlling the people who write the laws. It was Henry Kissinger who said, "Who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control whole continents. Who controls money can control the world." So it's just basically reiterating what Meyer Amschel Roth said. We've looked at this in the past. I just want to remind you of the pecking order that exists on this planet. And at the very top of the heap, you see the Bank for International Settlements. That is whom the central banks report to. And then underneath them, you have those think tanks like the World Economic Forum, who we talk about so often. We don't talk as much about the Council for Foreign Relations, Club of Rome, Chatham House, or the Rockefellers, but they're all involved in creating these ideas that get passed down to the distributors, those being the United Nations, the International Monetary Fund, the IPCC, and some of the other boxes that you see there. Under that layer of distribution, you have the enforcers. And the enforcers would be the national governments, and then you have selected scientific authorities. Some of them that you might be familiar with are the FDA, that's the Food and Drug Administration, and the National Institutes of Health. And then to get the word out, you have policy propagandists. So there are the social media platforms, you have mainstream media, you have folks like PolitiFact, Full Fact, etc., who will tell you to believe what they say to verify the veracity or the lack of on certain ideas or issues that come up. And then at the very bottom of that heap, you see us, the policy subjects, the public. The creation of the Federal Reserve Bank in 1913 was the beginning of a centralized system that now threatens to shake things up like never before. And I'm gonna have to correct the terminology, the Federal Reserve Bank, because I've heard in certain circles that it is not actually a bank, but it is a centralized system, and it is controlling finances and resources in America. There's no question about that. So if you look back to 1929, you had the Great Depression, and then in 1933, President Roosevelt took everyone's gold. We hope that it doesn't come to that today or tomorrow or in the future, but we know that it has happened in the past. And then in 1971, President Nixon unhooked the US dollar from the gold standard, and that was the beginning of a fiat currency system. Eventually, the petrodollar system was created, and when we look at the BRICS and the de-dollarization, we see the evidence of that losing its impact because countries in other parts of the world are looking at using something other than US dollars to purchase petroleum. If you go back to 2008, there was a financial crisis that resulted in $1.488 trillion being put on the table to rescue certain banks. But all of those pale in comparison to where we are now, and that is the Great Reset. We just take a look at a few figures. We can see that the US money supply has expanded so much. They have printed $15 trillion, probably more than that now, since 2020. And it wasn't actual dollars that were printed, but they were dollars that were infused into our money supply through the creation of currency through the banking system. We've also seen a decline in the value of cash. So if you look at 2018 and 2022, you can see that $100,000 lost $18,000 in value in just 4 years. We've seen prices go up for gas. We've seen prices go up for corn and a lot of other things. But the reason that these two things are so significant is when you look at gas, you're talking about energy. When you look at corn, you're talking about food. And remember the statement by Kissinger. He was talking about controlling food and controlling energy. Meanwhile, the debt of America is completely out of control. America is broke. Something that happened within the past couple of weeks is that America's credit rating has gone down. It's really kind of a joke because not much has changed since that credit rating has gone down, but America's financial woes continue. And despite the quick rescue by the Fed and the FDIC of Signature Bank and Silicon Valley Bank and First Republic, also Silvergate, 4 banks that have gone down in the past few months, there will be consolidation that continues, and it is going to eliminate an increasing number of regional banks. This is critical because small businesses rely on regional banks for capital. And the loss of these banks mean that many of these small businesses won't survive, and neither will the jobs that are associated. This is a new video that I came across. There is an expert, his name is Greg Manarino, and he says that things are worse than they appear to be. He had a conversation with Lynette Zhang, and I'm going to play for you a clip that came from that.
Cuts they can't be
right.
You see, people don't understand that I call it a direct, well, it's a collusion between central banks and the so-called leaders. And I believe sincerely that the world is run by central banks. Who controls the economy? It's central banks. Who controls the markets? It's central banks. Who controls the entire financial system? It's central banks. So they run the show, and they're going to make sure that they continue to inflate. I tell people all the time, a central bank's power resides in one thing, and one thing only, and that is their ability to inflate. This is why you're going to see much more of this moving forward. So this whole farce of controlling inflation, and we're going to get it under control by raising the federal funds rate 25 basis points. What did we have? The Fed, followed by the ECB, followed by the Bank of England, all just coincidence. They all did these little incremental 25 basis point hikes here, and they're promising us that inflation is going to get better. And I'll tell you the worst part of it, and I'm you know this already, is you got food inflation outpacing everything.
My God,
you still got energy costs. We haven't seen anything yet. I've been telling people, and I would imagine you would agree, commodities is what people need to be. I've been using those 3. You watch the television commercials, the repeat things 3 times. There's a reason for that. So I've been doing the same thing, because I believe sincerely this is where people need to be. As you know, I'm one of the biggest gold and silver, especially silver advocates on the planet. I think it's the most undervalued asset in the world.
Absolutely.
Looking at just the Dow Jones Industrial Average, gold ratio, then the gold silver ratio. Because people always ask me, well, Hug, why do you come up with this, Greg? Why do you believe that? Well, just do your own homework here.
History.
Dow, gold ratio, gold, silver ratio. And then you can see what I'm talking about, because I believe, and I would love to hear your take on this. Let's bounce off each other real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe that we are going to see, and obviously this stock market is in in a place way beyond la land right now. PE ratios, forward guidance, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right. It matters anymore.
Freak show. So, and we don't know. No one knows where the bottom is here. What we do know is that Dow 6,000 last meltdown is where the Fed started QE1, correct? Okay. So understanding that, where's the bottom? We don't know where the bottom is, but what I do believe is we're going to get a 1-to-1 with gold. Dow, gold, 1-to-1. Maybe, it depends how extreme it gets, but 1-to-1 is probably a best case scenario once the market comes down. So let's say we get a Dow 6,000, we're talking about 6,000 gold, and then a 15, maybe even a 10-to-1 with regard to ratio to silver. Again, what I try to tell people is when markets crash or a particular, let's say, asset class decides to, bleed off, that cash doesn't fly away to money heaven. It just
Right.
moves. It
Moves.
just moves through the markets. So we're going to see a
Exactly.
movement of cash, I believe, into commodities in a massive way. And why commodities? Because they're real things. They're not like digits on a screen. They're real. So that's why I think commodities for the long run are the place to be. And
So a lot of what he's expressing is also related to the bank runs, because as people take their money out of banks, they're going to put it into other asset classes. And one of the asset classes that they will be putting their money in is precious metals. Another one of those asset classes that they will be putting their money into is cryptocurrency. I really wish I could share that video from Raoul Pal. Perhaps after Wayne presents tonight, I'll figure out a way to bring it in so you can see it, because it is extremely impactful. So one of these things that we're looking at right now is what is expected to drastically reform the banking system, and that is central bank digital currencies. This young lady right here does an excellent job of summarizing what the CBDC platform is all about.
This is what's currently happening to the U.S. economy and traditional financial system in a nutshell. Whoever is in control of the world is using the Federal Reserve to destroy the U.S. banking system by increasing interest rates faster and higher than we've been used to for decades now. The goal is to consolidate and centralize the U.S. banking system so that only a few banks like JP Morgan exist, which gives the Federal Reserve and their big bank cronies more power over us. Money is a system of control, and cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ether, and similar are currently completely out of their control. So whoever is in control of the world is also using the SEC and other regulatory agencies to try to bankrupt US-based cryptocurrency on and off ramps like Coinbase and crypto-friendly banks, so that the big banks left over after the fallout, like JP Morgan, acquire them. So with the destruction of the current banking system, a central bank digital currency will be distributed and enforced as the only legal means to transact in the United States. And the Fed, big banks, and whoever is in control of the world right now will get to decide who can buy and sell crypto, how much crypto we can buy and sell, when we can buy and sell, and ultimately, if we can buy or sell it at all. And if they are successful, we will essentially be enslaved. Because if we stop and think about it, we use our money in order to transport, like buying cars, gas, plane tickets, subway passes, etc. We use our money to do things we want, like watch a movie, play video games, access information like the internet, access media. We use money to buy tools to help us make more money, like computers, cameras, equipment. We use money to communicate with each other, like cell phones and cellular services. We use money to buy food, to eat, and feed our families, feed our pets, to stay alive. When whoever is in control of the world becomes completely in control of our money, they will completely control our lives. They will deduct all of our bills, fines, child support, alimony, parking tickets, taxes, interest, everything from our sources of income before it hits our accounts. That will be linked directly to the Federal Reserve. They will dictate who gets access to capital, like loans and credit, how much and what it can be used for. They will dictate what we are allowed to buy to eat, how much we can buy of it. They will dictate if we are even allowed to buy food, period. A social credit system will be in place that will be used to dictate what we are able to do with our money. And if you've been watching the channel for a while now, we've been discussing this. And the news is finally catching up and validating everything. Economist Peter Schiff says the Fed destroyed the US banking system. It's insolvent. And the next wave of the crisis will be from commercial real estate, as this big commercial real estate downturn could sink 300 plus banks. And on the heels of our prediction about crypto, Pro XRP lawyer says SEC will crush crypto until big banks can control majority of the market. Deaton, who represented XRP holders in Ripple's lawsuit with SEC, says that once banking giants like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs get their piece of the crypto pie, U.S. officials will conveniently draw up a regulatory framework for the industry. This is similar to what happened leading up to the U.S. getting off the gold standard, where the central banks stole all the gold and the U.S. government banned citizens from owning it. So they will try to completely control our access to crypto, our ability to convert our money into crypto, while stealing a bunch of Bitcoin and banning self-custody of it. Lame. So what's our only saving grace? Actually, there are a few. Hello, I'm Crypto Casey, and welcome to another episode of Crypto This Week. let's take a look at the global news stories and the state of the current macro environment.
Okay, so we're not going to take a look at the stories, but she does offer some insight in terms of what we can do. And this is what she's saying about the best way to build crypto technology.
What's interesting about blockchain tech and crypto is that the best way to build and deploy projects is by building and deploying code that just consistently runs, not owned by anyone or any entity, that is decentralized, transparent, and immutable, like Bitcoin. Because there's not a whole lot regulators can do to shut down something like Bitcoin. We don't know who created it. The network runs and is secured by a vast, varied network of computers around the world in different countries and using different types of energy. So in the end, the government is actually pushing us towards self-custody solutions that interact directly with blockchain without using third parties like centralized crypto exchanges, which is how it should be anyways. All trustless systems dictated by code with no human involvement. But it'll take a while to get there from a development and user interface perspective. Right now, self-custody and interacting with truly decentralized applications like 1inch requires some tech knowledge and practice for the average person, which is a huge barrier for entry. Coinbase is the easiest and best way for beginners to get started. However, it's being attacked, with the end goal of them likely being acquired by JP Morgan or similar, with the help of the Fed and Gary Gensler at the SEC.
So what I'll say about Gensler right now is that he's under a lot of pressure, but he's not backing down. We've talked about this in the past, that BlackRock is seeking an ETF, a spot ETF for Bitcoin. I think Fidelity is also doing the same thing. It's projected that they'll be successful in doing that, and that's one of the signals to us that Bitcoin isn't going anywhere. So that's one of the reasons that I'm holding it. I'm buying it, I'm holding it, and there's a great expectation that its value is going to increase exponentially. One thing that will happen if these two spot ETFs are approved is that there will be an infusion of a lot of capital into the crypto markets, and as Bitcoin rises in value, the value of coins, relevant coins, will also go up. So that's one of the reasons that at least I would advocate the acquisition of Bitcoin. Huge development in the crypto world. I'm not going to run through these videos, but basically this was reaction to the lawsuit that had been filed against Ripple Labs, which is the entity that created XRP. I think in the past week or so, it was revealed that the SEC is they're appealing the decision. This is something that is expected to take months, but in the meantime, XRP has been classified as a commodity and not a security. XRP has a global footprint and it is being used all over the world right now. So what does it mean to the price of XRP? I am going to share some of this video because I think it's important for us to know that while we may have expectations that XRP goes up to $25,000 or $1,000 or whatever, or even $100, those expectations may be unfounded, and it all has to do with the amount of market capital.
XRP and Ripple just completely embarrassed the US government, and more importantly, Gary Gensler, who is probably going to get fired or have to be forced to resign. And this has some huge implications on where I think the price of XRP could go. Where is that? Well, let me just say, you're going to want to stay to the end of this video because I promise you're going to like what I have to say. Now, of Bitcoin at 589 trillion, which is the current market cap of Bitcoin. The current market cap of XRP is 37 billion. So it has a long ways to go before it can catch up and overtake it. In fact, it's about 15.9x from today's price based on the circulating supply to match the actual market cap of Bitcoin. So what exact price would that be if XRP caught up to the market cap of Bitcoin? If we zoom out here, we can see that a 15.9x from here would be $11.30. So if XRP was able to reach up to about $11.30, that would mean it would match the market cap of Bitcoin's market cap today. The problem is, if XRP does get up there, that also means that Bitcoin will probably be somewhere between $100,000 to $250,000 as well, because I don't believe XRP is going to go up here unless Bitcoin does well. So Could XRP take over Bitcoin? I think it's probably unlikely because they're probably going to go up simultaneously together. And XRP would have to 16x to match today's market cap of Bitcoin. Now, the $100 price target that we put in the thumbnail of this video, which was just fucking clickbait. If we hit $100 per coin on XRP, that would be a $3.7 trillion market cap, which would be over the market cap of Apple's market cap of $3 trillion. Is that possible? I think it's highly unlikely. I think the realistic target for us right now would be to potentially match Bitcoin's market cap of 589 million. But more so, I think the target that would probably be more feasible would be a long-term, really good target would be $10 per coin. And also short-term, I do believe if we break out over this descending trend that's been forming up for quite some time right now, this will be a massive trigger, right? So if we start consolidating here again, break out over this descending trend line, which just so happens to be in line with about $1 per coin, if we start getting back up over $1 per coin, I think, yes, we're definitely going to retest these highs here at about $1.70. And we could potentially retest these highs here at about 330 to the closing price high at about 274. This would be the near-term target to potentially be locking in some gains before we saw probably some sort of dip buying opportunity to then dollar cost average again before we head up towards $5 per coin. Now, looking long-term, if Bitcoin does see new all-time highs, starts trading at $100,000 to $200,000 per coin, that is when I believe we could potentially get up to $10 per coin, or even the market cap of Bitcoin today at $589 billion. Just to recap, I think the dip buying opportunity is between about 71 cents to 55 cents right now. Buying right now, I think would probably be best to put a smaller position and save some capital for that potential dip down to 55, especially if US stocks pull back, especially if Bitcoin pulls back. Near-term targets, if we break out above this line, we're heading to easy 150, potentially high of about $2 per coin. Long to medium term target is to take out these highs, at least retest them, lock in some gains, then dollar cost average on the dip, potentially all the way back down to here to about $2 before we rip to 5. Now,
so he's basically making a case for us to be acquiring XRP right now. The last time I looked, and it was a few days ago, XRP was somewhere around 61 cents. So it was between that 55 cent and 70 cent pocket that he talked about. But yeah, with the potential that it has to go where it's going to go, and I say it's going to go because it's in use to the extent that it is right now. And as things continue, it's probably only going to increase. And that's just my opinion, and it's not based on anything that I would say is documented. There's also mounting concern by congressmen that CBDCs should be illegal. So we've got a couple like Representative Emmer and Congressman Mooney. They have both introduced measures to make CBDCs illegal. Of course, you know, Ron DeSantis has made them illegal in Florida. They're also making them illegal in Texas. And there may be other states that are picking up on this. And I'll say this while I'm on the subject, one of the presidential candidates, and that is Robert Kennedy, RFK Jr., I believe. He is very pro-crypto and anti-CBDC. So I think because of that, it's going to see a lot of conversation leading up to the election. We also have some positive information about some pro-crypto legislation that has passed through Congress. So let's take a look at this right quick.
So the hits keep coming from DC, and of course the stablecoin bill has been presented, and of course we seem like we got to win. We'll break all this down for you guys. It's going to be a lot of clips for you. It'll break it down what has been, again, multi hours of legislation, amendments, and a lot of clown foolery that we'll break down for you. Give you an idea of what this might mean for crypto in general, especially around stablecoins. It's been a good one. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. Let's get into it. And I want to just go over to the bills themselves, give you guys a framework of what went in front of Congress and the House yesterday. House Bill number 4766, Clarity for Payment Stablecoins Act 2023. This is offered, of course, by McHenry. And then also the Keep Your Coins Act is offered by Rep. Warren Davidson. Both Warren Davidson and Patrick McHenry, I would say right now, are probably two of the top 5 leading lawmakers that are really pro crypto. And I think their bills got an interesting side note here, and we'll break it down for you guys to kind of get you into the frame of what's happening here, what these bills mean, because it is a big step forward in crypto as a whole. You just lying about it. All right, so this last clip is just the final vote for self-custody. Listen in.
There are no further discussion, debate. To HR 4841, the question now occurs on the adoption of the amendment in the nature of substitute offered by the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Davidson. All those in favor shall signify by saying aye. All those opposed shall signify by saying nay.
No.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The ayes have it, and the amendment in the nature of a substitute is adopted.
All right, so there you have it. HR 4766, Clarity for Payment of Stablecoins Act 2023, passed through in a significant amount. And also HR 4841, Keep Your Coins Act, that's the vote you just saw, also passed through by Rep. Warren Davidson. So good signs, when we assess this, I think that the digital currency side of this, especially when you look at digital assets as a whole, the bill that went through yesterday is most likely going to be the one that actually may get more traction in the House. However, I think there is something waiting in the wings for this stablecoin. And there may be something here from the White House because of FedNow, because of what's happening within the Biden administration that could play into this as a leveraging point to put something into this bill. And this is a typical strategy of not only the White House, but also by the Democrats and Republicans, is that they look at ways to insert something that gets their part of whatever industry into something that in some cases doesn't even have a relevance to what the bill's about, but it gets the bill through. That's
what I find interesting about this is that this is kind of an anti-CBDC modicum that they're engaged in. So it's going to be real interesting to see how those two things play against each other. On one hand, you've got the government, and I'm saying specifically the Democrats that are trying to push CBDCs through, and at the same time, you have folks in Congress who are advocating for cryptocurrency. So we'll see. There are also concerns about the US dollar losing its status as the world reserve trading currency. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and a number of nations are moving away from it. But I want to say this about that. There are countries that are really concerned about maintaining their sovereignty. So what we're seeing is that they are tired of being bullied by the United States. And of course, they do that because they want to get their way with certain things. I found something interesting today, and that is that that country over there in Africa, where they're having all this conflict and they're getting support from the Russians. You may or may not know that there are no sanctions on uranium between the United States and Russia. So for whatever reason, they're looking the other way. So a lot of this conflict that we see with nations on Earth, some of it is kind of an illusion, because there are ways that some countries depend on each other that they can't discontinue such associations. So kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. But one thing is for certain, there are a number of countries in Africa that are lining up on the side of Russia because they don't want to be victimized by what the United States is doing. And that is that they're going in and they're basically taking out what they want to without the benefit going to those countries. An example of that is a natural gas pipeline that they're building across the continent of Africa. And it's going through Niger. And the folks in Niger are saying, we're not going to let you put this through our country because we're not going to get any benefit from it. So countries are standing up to the United States right now. China is pushing its digital yuan for purchasing petroleum from the Saudis. We have something here on the BRICS expansion. This is actually a little bit dated, so I'm not going to run this video tonight. But I will tell you that there is going to be a summit in South Africa, supposedly this month. What I am also hearing is that Russia is not going to be there. And I think there's some conversation that India may not be there as well. So there may be some weakness in that armor. But one thing is certain, countries are lining up against what is being put down by the United States. So now is a time to prepare for what is to come and what is already happening. And Bitcoin is going to be a major player in this new development. So let's take a look at this right quick.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and or CBDCs. Check this out. A few days ago, the Federal Reserve launched their new payment system, FedNow. What does it mean? What happens next? Will they make you eat the bugs? FedNow is an instant payment system run by the Federal Reserve that collects information and can veto transactions, leading many to compare it to a CBDC. Coin Bureau put out a great YouTube video the other day calling FedNow a, quote, Trojan horse for a CBDC. The key difference being FedNow is only between banks, so it's only bank money, while a CBDC would also cover cash, so there would be no escape unless you stop using the dollar. The Fed's excuse for FedNow is that our current payment system is garbage. It takes days to move money. And you can't use it on nights or weekends, which is very 19th century of them. Economist George Selgin suggested this almost appears intentional, that they were running payments on horse and buggies, perhaps so they could justify this kind of centralization. So they could have just kept payments open on nights and weekends and called it a day. Of course, they did not do this, since every government failure is an opportunity for yet more control. So FedNow has been in the works for almost a decade, starting with the 2015 Faster Payments Task Force, made up of major banks, payment processors, and retailers like Walmart. In 2019, they announced the actual FedNow project, which is coincidentally right around the time the World Economic Forum announced its 2030 project to force global socialism on humanity, championed by a key player in FedNow, Lael Brainerd. FedNow development continued during the pandemic, with Brainerd herself announcing the features in a webinar: near instant payments, reporting those payments to the government, and the ability to limit or blacklist both accounts and individuals using, Brainerd promised, machine learning. I've mentioned recently the Fed's obsession with so-called friction tech to lock you into a failing bank, and the federal government has long sought a way to make universal basic income easy, since they want to buy votes and permanent parasites do, in fact, vote. FedNow would be a big step to centralizing such control of money. So what happens next? In the near term, expect a sharpening of the federal government's ability to surveil transactions, to harass people they don't like, in both cases a level up from the surveillance state we already have in today's banking system, the one Justin Trudeau used against his people. As for freezing you into a bank or universal basic income, both await crises that our ruling clowns obligingly deliver like clockwork. Future bank failures will surface the friction talk, while any jump in unemployment will be the bat signal for the professional activists and media and non-government organizations, which are government funded, to get working on that universal basic income. Governments have spent 50 years building a surveillance panopticon into our financial system, using tax avoidance and terrorism as the go-to excuse. And despite the Fourth Amendment clearly forbidding such dragnet surveillance, absent probable cause of a very specific crime, none of this stuff is popular among voters. CBDCs, for example, regularly score about 80% opposition, but they are obviously incredibly popular for governments seeking control. We could see a revival of the Fourth Amendment in America, but if not, the only way to stop these things is for voters to demand politicians stop it, and for elections to be clean enough that politicians actually listen.
All right, enough of that. What we need to do right now is to begin acquiring assets that can serve as a store of value. Precious metals are a key commodity for your portfolio. Gold and silver are poised to see significant gains in the near future, especially silver. We listened to this last week. I'm not going to play this video tonight for the sake of time, but just know, and Brother Wayne can reinforce the point, that there is going to be a reason for silver to bust out of the gate, so forth. So you can buy gold and silver as numismatic and semi-numismatic coins. You can buy fractional gold coins as well as gold and silver by the gram. You can also get gold backs. You can use apps like UPMA and Glint Pay. You can purchase precious metals and have them stored, and then acquire a debit card to spend against the value of the precious metals in your account. We've shown this video in the past. I think you get the idea. I'm going to skip past that one tonight, as well as this this video from the owner of the Glint Pay app. And basically he's suggesting that you acquire gold and use that platform as a means of pushing back against central bank digital currencies. And again, the outlook for silver is bullish. So there are expectations that it's going to grow out. It's going to break out, especially because of the scarcity of it. This is another video that I do want to share with you. This person is with Coin Bureau.
What's happened to the markets over the past year has been nothing short of unprecedented. Raise is a no-brainer. In an inflationary environment where interest rates can't reflect reality and the government is constantly manipulating credit, gold will be one of the best hedges. This assumes that governments won't find an excuse to ban gold, which has happened in the past. Second, value stocks, particularly in countries that are not at risk of financial repression. Russell's focus on value stocks is why he was so bullish on Japan. Its stock indices are made up of value stocks. Expect to see the same phenomenon among value stocks elsewhere. Japan may not be good anymore. Third, buy selected tech stocks. Russell admitted in an interview that some tech stocks will be good hedges against financial repression, but cautioned that it's going to be difficult to identify which ones. Focusing on those that are on the receiving end of government spending could be one approach. Given this selection, cryptocurrency is probably a hedge too. BTC is analogous to digital gold, and ETH is analogous to digital oil. At an even more basic level, the only sectors that have outpaced inflation over the years are technology and finance. Crypto is a combination of both, and therefore.
Okay. So this is an overview of the Transact card. And as I said at the top of the meeting, I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to have our guest on next Sunday's meeting. Okay. And this is what happened last week. I'm going to have to replace that video. But what I'll say about the Transact card is that it represents a great opportunity for those who open the digital banking office. With a digital banking office, if you suggest this card to people and they use the card every time they make a purchase, you will make a profit on that transaction. But there are also great benefits that come from using the card, and that is that you will get money back on the purchases that you make, and you can use that money to purchase other things. So it's a great program, and it's being connected to some of the other major platforms. And a lot of the vendors are names that you can recognize. So they got a lot of great deals and a lot of great offers with the Transact card. And we're going to get into them in depth in the very near future. Digital assets, as I said before, they are also an option. Bitcoin is a commodity and not a security. And as I was saying before, Bitcoin is not going anywhere. Its value is expected to double against the previous high sometime next year. I want to go ahead and move towards conclusion because I know Wayne has some things to share with us tonight. I have a few other videos that I want to share, but we don't have time tonight. And just as a side note, I had an issue with my phone today. Verizon actually allowed my account to be compromised. So I spent 2.5 hours on the phone with Verizon just to get my phone cut back on. And that's the reason that I wasn't able to get to the presentation as greatly as I wanted to. But I hope that there was something of value in what I presented to you this evening. So with that, and again, Union View Investments, I did talk about that a little bit. I do have a short video I can share with you. I'm going to make a few comments about Novatech, and then I'm going to welcome Wayne Chandler to our meeting.
Looking for a trustworthy financial management company to invest with? Look no further. because Union View Investment is the perfect choice for you. Union View Investment manages clients' money, aiming to generate consistent earnings and income across all market conditions. We prioritize safety, transparency, professionalism, and diligent risk management through innovative investment methods. Our investment options and services includes the following: real estate, stocks, crypto trading, precious metals, agro farming, renewable energies, non-renewable energies. Union View Investment is your trusted partner in building wealth and achieving financial success. Don't miss out on the opportunity to join thousands of satisfied investors who have chosen Union View Investment. Invest with us today and embark on your journey towards a brighter financial future. Visit our website for more information, www.unionviewinvestment.com. For inquiries, please chat our live support agent via the LiveJet widget on our website.
And
Looking for a trustworthy.
one of the things that I like about Union View is, again, they have a very diverse portfolio in terms of the things that they're invested in, and they have been consistently earning over 3% a week, consistently. I've been in the program for about a month and a half right now, and I'm pleased to say that the returns have been consistent, and they have excellent customer service. So with that, I'm just going to make a few more comments about Novatech specifically. For those who weren't with us at the beginning of the meeting, I was able to sit in on a Zoom meeting that happened on Friday, in which someone gave the entire background and history of what has happened as Novatech has gotten to where it is right now. The short of it is, to be concise, because of the legal situation that the Pettyons are in right now, Novatech is in right now, they most likely have been advised by their attorneys not to say anything. And that's why we haven't heard anything from them, because, when it comes to that whole paradigm, what you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. So to avoid anything that could happen negatively, they just haven't said anything. What was also shared, and this is something that Brother Wayne has shared with us as well, is the fact that the website has not been shut down, the fact that we are getting communication about our returns and so forth. That is a positive idea. The worst possible scenario is that this goes to class action, because when there's a class action lawsuit, the people don't win, the government wins, because they take away most of the money and then they just hand out really small checks. So that's not something that we want to see happen. But what else was stated in that meeting was that the reason things went the way they went is because people inside of our platform, our members, our partners, filed complaints against Novatech. And that's what initiated the proceedings against Novatech. So I don't want to say we have ourselves to blame, but it actually started with some disgruntled investors in Western Canada. So what happened after that is that some liquidation occurred, and then there was the announcement that came out of California, and that may have been all of 3 or 4 weeks, and then it was back to business as usual. And then this whole situation kind of migrated to the U.S., and that's why we are where we are right now. He was optimistic that at some point we may be able to retrieve what we have invested in the program and possibly be able to continue in another platform or another paradigm. But the feeling that I got from what he said is that they're not going anywhere, and they're going to do what they have to do to protect what we have in. So with all of that said, I'd like to welcome Brother Wayne. How you doing, brother? And welcome back.
Let me turn my mic on.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that. Greatly appreciated. Man, I don't think we've had just 28 people on the call in a very long time.
It's a beautiful day, man. I think that's what it is.
Is that what it is?
That might be it.
Well, with so much going on in the world, we have to be very strategic in how we navigate our current reality and based on just all of what's transpiring. And the metals is just, I'm just blown away by the manipulation that's going on right in front of our face regarding silver and gold. And one of the things, we hear a lot, we say, this is the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. The greatest transfer of wealth in human history. That's a deeply profound statement. And I think that it kind of goes over our head what that really infers, what it means, because that's a lot of wealth. It's a lot of assets, money. Who's all going to get that when it's the largest transfer in human history? That in itself is a really deep undertaking. So I'd like people to really stop and think about what they're talking about, because they can't be talking about CBDCs, because we know that CBDCs are just a reflection in a new reincarnation of the fiat dollar. Only this time it's coming in with a whole lot of other aspects and dynamics that do not play to our benefit. So we know that it can't be CBDCs. The other piece, is cryptocurrency, but cryptocurrency hasn't launched itself up into a stratospheric platform to keep it up and running. Not yet. There are a whole lot of humps for cryptocurrency to get over and move through to make it a valuable resource or an invaluable resource. So when you look at the overall perspective of what we're talking about with this massive shift of wealth that is taking place, you're looking at two assets. Those two assets are gold and silver. And this is why it's so imperative for those of you who have not made the investment into silver, into gold, to really think about being proactive in doing that. And I wouldn't waste time. There is so much manipulation, especially with silver, because silver is going to really, like I said, I say this all of the time, gold comes out of the starting gates at a very, rapid pace, blistering. Silver comes out much slower. But silver always overtakes gold in its value and its store of abundance. It always overtakes gold. That's historical. Now, so much energy right now is being put into silver to try to keep people from investing into silver that it's ridiculous. One of the latest things that I've heard, which just really blew me away, the US released a report of the 50 most important strategic metals in the world. the 50 most important strategic metals in the world. When we look at silver, silver is the base, undergirds the entire electric vehicle industry. You would not have electric vehicle batteries without silver. Silver is the basis for the solar paneling industry. Without silver, there would be no solar energy, no solar powering. Silver is used in all of our computers, all of the various mobile phones that we love to use. Silver, to a large extent, is used in all of the Tomahawk missiles that are used in warfare. Silver is not only an industrial metal, it's also a metal that represents currency, that represents real wealth, that represents real money. So when the US put this list out of the 50 top strategic metals in the world, silver wasn't even on the list. It was nowhere to be found on the list. That is very telling to me because for so long, they have manipulated silver to make the general public believe that silver is worthless when it's just the opposite. And they have gone to such great lengths to the extent that they have left silver off of a list of the 50 most strategically important metals in the world. That in itself is an impossibility, but yet it has happened. And these are the things that we have to look at, and we have to digest the importance of such maneuvers and what they imply. So for those of you, once again, we talk about 401ks, we talk about IRAs and other types of retirement accounts. You can roll those over into silver, into gold, no taxation. You lose nothing, and they're kept for you, secured for you, insured by the greatest insurance company on the planet for you. Make that move. For those of you who have deeper pockets, then yeah, dig into your pockets right now, because silver, they're trying to show the world that silver has no value whatsoever. So the last time I checked, silver was like $22 an ounce. $22 an ounce. You could go in to UPMA, you could purchase silver directly from there, or you could go to Miles Franklin and purchase silver coins directly from there and ship them into UPMA. What's beautiful about UPMA is that once you invest your silver into UPMA, and UPMA is the only silver and gold bank, asset bank in the world. Once you put your metals, your assets into UPMA, you will automatically begin to see your money grow exponentially as silver begins to take off and begins to grow. you will automatically begin to see that. Because one of the things that silver does when it's in the confines of an establishment like UPMA is it grows and develops in value based on percentages and not dollar to dollar increases. So think of what it looks like when you have investments in the stock market. As that particular stock grows in value, you're not paid by the dollar to dollar valuation. You're paid by the percentage increase of that particular stock. And this is how UPMA is set up. And this is how it handles our metals. Now, I know a lot of folks are somewhat, confused in terms of like gold and silver and the roles that they play. Gold, to have gold, because people say, oh man, well, gold is a hedge against, basically poverty. You want to have as much gold in your portfolio as you possibly can, because it's a hedge against you losing out as you step into the shifting of a new paradigm, financial paradigm. So with respect to gold, gold is that. What gold does, it protects your personal or family, depending on how much you have, well-being. That's what it does. So it's literally there to act as a basis of financial security. It's a representation of financial security and stability as one financial system shifts into another financial system. That's how gold is used. Silver, on the other hand, is a fungible asset. It's a fungible asset in the sense that you can use silver in the immediate here and now. If the ATMs go down, if the banks go down, you can use your silver to barter with. But if you have an account at UPMA, because what does UPMA provide? It provides you a debit card that's directly connected to your account. So as your account balloons and the value of what you hold in that account goes parabolic, you have that debit card to give you access to your holdings. So you don't have to do the barter thing. These are all profound, dynamically enriched strategies, basically, that we can use in the times that lie ahead. I love silver. I think that everybody needs to have it. Warren Buffett, when he made his move in 2020 and invested and purchased 1.2 billion ounces of silver, that said a lot. Now, he's invested in silver before. He likes silver. He bought 1 million ounces in 1996. So that shows that he has a certain degree of practical insight with respect to silver holdings and what they can produce. In 2020, he also invested $500 million into gold. Silver is that asset that you can utilize immediately when, as they say, shit hits the fan. Silver is there in its various denominations, whether you have it in grams, whether you have it in ounces, whether you have it in quarter ounces. You can use your silver in a variety of different ways for a variety of different things. So those of you, and this is what I want to say, for those of you who have invested into silver and do not understand what you have, I had a young lady who had invested into Novatech. And she invested a substantial amount, $100,000. Her account in Novatech grew to $300,000, a little over $300,000, really. So in a phone conversation with her a few days ago, she's crying the blues. And I had to tell her, you must understand something that is very, very important. And this runs the gamut, goes across the board for everyone who has invested into silver that's in this program. As I explained to her, you are already a millionaire, already, because of your IRA rollovers, because of your personal investment. You have already substantially secured yourself in the millionaire status. And that's what a lot of us do not understand. We don't understand that because of our investments into metals, we already are millionaires, already. It's important to embrace that reality, because when you don't, you find yourself pushed into a reality of lack. It's a totally different energy when you proceed in the investment world, knowing that you have the mindset of abundance, knowing that you're already a millionaire, already, and nobody can take that from you. Nobody can take that from you. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. And you hold your silver, you hold your gold, you hold your metal assets. So when we go into these various programs, you want to keep that in mind. You don't want to step into these programs with this mentality of lack. You just don't want to go there. You want to step into the program with a mindset of abundance. And that in itself will help to facilitate success in whatever you're doing out in the world. So with respect to Union View Investments. These are some of the things for those of you that have not gotten invested. Union View has 13 years of experience. And as you saw, based on the video that Vince played, they invest in different sectors: renewable, non-renewable energy, real estate, precious metals, crypto, forex, stocks, and other bonds. These help them to manage and to do a proper diversification due to market volatility. Number two, no withdrawal fees and no monthly fees. Number three, maximum time of withdrawal to reach your wallet is 6 hours. Maximum time. In other words, when you make a withdrawal out of UnionView, out of your account, the max time to have that money in your wallet is 6 hours. And also, the minimum withdrawal is $10. The minimum withdrawal is $10. The minimum deposit is $100. So let me say this while we're on this subject. Several of you using my link have signed up for UnionView, and you have not put 1 penny in your account. Not 1 penny. If you are having issues with funding your account, that's why I'm here. That's why Vince is here. That's why Jay is here. But you have to reach out. I hate seeing those red circles on my account because they represent lack. They represent loss. I don't want to be affiliated or associated with that kind of energy on my account. So what I am asking you to do, either totally dismantle the account or fund the account, one or the other. Number 4, UnionView has a viable insurance policy, and they offer equity guarantee, which ensures that no investor will ever lose their money. 100% capital guaranteed back anytime. Number 5, fully registered and licensed, both in the USA and in the UK. 6, as Vince stated, good customer service and proper management of our funds, our accounts. Weekly withdrawals are done every Friday and every Saturday. Number 8, automatic reinvesting or compounding. Number 9, automatic account updates. 10, user-friendly and flexibility in every aspect of their system operation: trading, withdrawal, deposit. They have an active live chat support system that you can connect with at any given time, night or day. Full access to withdrawal of your capital at any time. Consistency, sustainability, transparency, reliability, and honesty. The 3 levels of referral bonus. So those are some of the things that UnionView brings to the table. Now, there are always spaces where stuff can happen, especially in these days and time. So when you go into any kind of platform, after you've been in there for a minute and you've made your money back, whatever that investment is, you've made that back, you pull that out. Every platform, and this is how I'm looking at this now, and I believe it was Dion, we were rapping about this earlier, and she was talking to someone who told her, when you step into these platforms, don't give them more than 180 days. And I can see that. So when you go in, get your money out, stay in for another 3 months, take some profit. Take enough profit that's going to make you feel good. And then leave the rest in and play with house money, you know, and see where it takes you, see where you go. So the one thing that I want to bring tonight, which has resurfaced, this has popped back up. And that is Afrique arbitrage. Now, Afrique arbitrage was a platform that came up, I guess, maybe about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. And it looked really, really good, but it went down. And the reason it went down was because there was someone in the program who was ciphering funds to the amount of $27 million. And this caused a pretty substantial, dysfunction in how they were trying to operate and be on top of everything. So with them coming back on board, what I like about them the most is that they're under a flagship umbrella, which is called Impact. Now, just to give you some numbers, I'm gonna run some numbers to you. If you drop $100 into Afrique arbitrage, $100 in 3 months, you would have made $22,132 in 3 months' time. In 4 months, you would have made $99,180. If you go in with $300, in 3 months, you come out with $66,397. And you get the idea in terms of the benefit that potentially awaits us with the amount of money that we invest into a program like that. Now, what gives me a measure of security about this particular platform is not Afrique arbitrage itself, but it's the platform that oversees and works with it, which is called Impact. Impact is a nonprofit organization, and their focus is going out into the communities. And they'll come to your city, set up a workshop. And I love that. because they're all about what it takes and what it means to bring abundance into communities that don't understand what that really entails. So, impact for me personally is the springboard that gives me some degree of validation with respect to our free arbitrage. Because I definitely feel that they are solid on the up and up, and they're working with a company like Afrique, which, you know, they're the umbrella over. So with all of that being said, I believe that's everything that I want to say. So Vince, I'm hitting that ball back into your court.
All right. Well, I'm glad you reiterated what you said about playing with the house money, because I led off the meeting with that tonight.
Solid.
Yeah, the Zoom meeting that I attended on Friday, or at least that I listened to and watched, was very informative about the Novatech situation. And it was somebody who was very connected to the folks who are at the top of that chain. And basically what he said was that it's important, as you stated, to take your profits out, take your seed out and play with the house money. He also said that, and they had some type of 50-50 formula where I think you take out 50% profits and leave 50% in after you start playing with the house money. Take 50 out and then leave 50 there to continue to invest. And in that way, you're not going to suffer any losses. So that's the lesson to us. He talked about people, because he was in Novatech, he still is. He said that the Pettyons basically have been told not to say anything because of the legal issues, which is something that we said before, something that we speculated on months ago. So he gave an entire background of how things started to fall apart last October. It actually goes that far back. So he talked about what happened in the western provinces of Canada. He talked about what happened in California, and he talked about, you know, how the Pettyons were registered in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He said it was like the Wild Wild West down there. So it was very comprehensive in terms of dealing with everything. He talked about the possibility of a class action lawsuit and the fact that the reason that this all happened is because there were investors in Novatech who filed complaints that resulted in the ball rolling and things falling apart. He also said that it's very possible that they will be able to come back, but he didn't characterize them as crooks. He said it's not a scam. It's just like you said last week before, the reason that we're still getting emails and so forth and so on is that they're sending a signal to us that things are still intact. So there's reason for optimism. You know, I know there are a lot of us who have significant money invested in that program, and we don't want to see it just dry up and go up in smoke. So we will see what happens with that. But in the meantime, we're doing what we have to do to continue building wealth, and that's the most important thing. I think we've learned a few lessons from that. One that I have definitely learned is take your profits out, take your seed money out, take profits out, because, you know, I should have been taking out money all along, but I was looking at the finish line and not running the race correctly. So that's my bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's the philosophy, you know, the philosophical doctrine of just investing and having a certain mindset. I'm gonna hit this real quick. And
as you do that, Brenda wants to know I think she was talking about Afrique arbitrage. How was it funded?
I believe it's funded on the Tron network, so you can't go through Coinbase. And Dion may have a little bit more information on that. If she's on, I don't know if she's on or not.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just
Okay.
driving. Yeah, my understanding is that you have to fund it through the Tron system. So Coinbase doesn't have Tron, so you use CoinZoom. I'm not sure who else uses Tron. That's the one I'm probably gonna try to use is CoinZoom.
Okay. What did I do?
You trying to share your screen?
I'm trying to share my screen, but I don't even see the share button.
Maybe change your view. While you're looking, Sapphira is asking if there's a website for it.
For what?
Afrique arbitrage, I believe.
Oh, they had a meeting, I believe, this evening. I have to look into see if they have a website, and I will get that to her. And I don't know what is happening here. This is really
Okay.
strange.
You see your view button, it's top right corner.
Yeah,
Click on that and see if it changes anything.
this is serious Twilight Zone.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, I can see, all I see is my Google page and you. That's
Oh.
it.
Okay.
You know, so I'm gonna forego it.
Okay.
And because I have no idea what I did to get to where I am right now. And I definitely don't know how to get back.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, I will ask if there are any questions, comments, or concerns before we wrap things up tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear
Yeah,
you.
Lily, how are you?
Good, Wayne. How are you?
I'm good.
Good, good. Just I want to know which website you guys recommend to purchase XRP.
Wow. Well,
Which
you can pretty much get it everywhere right now. You can actually go to Coinbase and get it.
Coinbase? Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If
Wayne,
one of you,
Yes.
what's the name of that company and or the link, that investment company you was talking about? That sounded very attractive to me. I want to take a look at that.
you talking about Union View, Clarence?
Yeah, Union View. That's it. Yeah.
Union View Investment.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you put something in the chat that I may be able to take a look at that, including the sign up link?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. This is just so weird.
Thanks, and I'll mute myself.
Okay. Okay, looks like Wayne is gone. He'll probably come back in.
Vince, one other thing, I got on kind of late, so I may be late to the party. Did you discuss or did you see the YouTube video floating around from the president from Kenya and other countries about disbanding and stop using the US dollar in a couple of weeks, all 152 countries are going to just completely repudiate it and not use it, refuse to accept it for goods and services.
I
The
have,
vice president,
yeah, I
the
have.
president from Kenya put out a YouTube video on it, an announcement to his people.
Yeah, I haven't seen the video, but I do know that there is de-dollarization taking place right now, and there's pushback against the United States because they're weaponizing the dollar. So I'm not surprised to hear that. But what I will also
Video is on Side Hustle. Brad posted it last night on Side Hustle.
Yeah.
It's also on WBC's Telegram
Okay.
also.
Great.
Well, there's a lot of conversation about that, but the thing that will prevent it from being as effective as they want it to be right now is the fact that so many countries own US debt in the form of a dollar. That's number one. Number two, the bond markets are tied to it. So
Right.
they can't immediately replace the US dollar as a world reserve trading currency. It's something that may take years. It may happen sooner than we want to, but it's not going to be something that's immediate. That's what I've been hearing about that. Okay. Clarence, you were asking about the link for Union View?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Wayne,
Yeah, I had to go out and come back in. Do I have your email, Clarence?
you should, but I'll put it in the chat. I'll send it to you, Wayne.
Okay,
That'll be best. Now I'll just send it directly to you.
that'll be awesome.
Okay.
all righty. Any other questions or concerns? Any other comments?
Yes, Wayne, can I have that link too? Because I want to open that Union View as well.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Thanks.
All righty.
Let me put my email in the chat, and anyone.
There you go. I sent it to you, Wayne.
Okay, great.
And really it's lowercase. You don't have to. Oh yeah, I have it in lowercase. I want to make sure I didn't capitalize it. Okay.
Okay, great. And this is my email.
All right.
All right, Sabrina, Verna, you usually chime in at the end of the meeting. I will give you your chance before we sign off.
Okay, Lily, there you go.
Let me copy Wayne's email before you do. Got it.
Okay, good.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate all you do.
I didn't see the email on the chat.
You don't see it? It's right there.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
You see it?
You see.
Lily, it's real simple. It's WayneBChandler@gmail.com. All lowercase.
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
I just posted it again.
Okay. Oh, you good, Dion? You driving and typing at the same time?
No, I just got home. I ran in the house.
Okay.
Wayne, this is Freddie.
Freddie.
Yes. Do you have the link to UPMA?
That's in the chat too. I already put that in the chat.
Okay.
I'll put it in there again.
No, I mean don't you have to have a link to sign up?
UPMA, no, you don't have to have a link to sign up. You can
Right.
call and you can tell them. Wayne and I used Robin. Wayne was in first, and then he used a lady named Robin. You don't have to go with Robin, but if you talk to Robin, you you can just let her know who referred you, and they give you like a little credit, but it's not like an affiliate program or anything like that.
No, not at all.
It's not like you're gonna, make money off of people you send in, but they give you
Right.
like a little credit.
Right.
Yeah,
They give you, at the end of the year, they give you $1,000 worth of silver.
That was nice.
Yeah,
It could be. I mean,
Yeah,
silver
it
might
can-
be $1,000 an ounce by the end of the year. So you might you might be only eligible for one coin.
right. But you're not gonna make money off of like somebody else's account like you do in all these other
No,
platforms.
not at all.
They just say thank you. Here's like a little thank you for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
All righty.
so Vince, I was gonna make a comment about a call that I was on yesterday, where they were talking about how to do, some of the kinds of things that you should do for your due diligence, really giving some very good guidelines, places that you can check and all that. And so they said that they were going to send a copy of they had like handouts. So once I received the handout, I'll send it to you, and you could send it out to the group. But it was quite very good information so that we can all get familiar with the kinds of things that we should do to just make sure that we're in a good investment
Okay.
or in a good
And that's very difficult to do, because you look at funds, and Stacy was reading to me what you sent her, Dion, and I was listening to that. There was nothing valid about funds, nothing. It was all a scam, all of it. And when you look at a platform like that, that got that kind of traction, yeah, we have to do our due diligence big time and really be on top of this. So
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do. For everybody who's here tonight, we're trying to really be on top of the platforms that we bring to you, so that, there's no loss, or we can profoundly minimize the potential of such a event taking place.
Yeah. And Wayne, I that might be the reason that folks are hesitant about making that investment with Union View, but I think we've done our due diligence on that. You've enumerated quite a few reasons that it would be something that you should think about. So, we always say that there is risk, but when somebody says that something is insured or guaranteed, and they have the credibility that Union View does, then that's something that you want to make sure that you at least take a good look at. We're not spread too thin on cryptocurrency, Forex type affiliate programs right now, and that's for good reason. But yeah, Union View is definitely worth a good look. And as Wayne tells you, week after week after week, precious metals, gold and silver, if you hold it, you own it, you don't have to worry about it. The likelihood that America is going to make gold illegal probably ain't going to happen.
Wayne, did I understand you said that funds is a scam, complete scam?
Yes.
Yes. Complete, total, through and through.
Really?
No
Yes.
question.
Well, that's the word. That's what I saw on the message, but I don't know if there's any other side of that story.
Well, we'll see, because the four individuals who were out front are on their way to jail. So we'll see what that looks like on the other side. Brianna, a scam, is something that has been perpetrated illegally.
I think she's asking which platform is a scam, and we're saying that funds is a scam, and it was
Oh,
CTFC that made that official. It's the
right.
CTFC that's responsible for sending them behind bars. So even in that case, you asked, well, who are the principals? There they were. Their faces were on the website. You know, we all
Exactly.
asked the question, who's involved? Well, we know who was involved, but you know, things have caught up with them, so it is where it is. But again, we've done our due diligence on Union View, and so we can suggest to you that you participate in that program. And as we said about Novatech, we'll just have to see how the legal situation pans out. Hopefully, it will be to our benefit. But in the meantime, we're not letting the moss grow under our feet. So I'll say it again: get gold, get silver, get Bitcoin. Okay, the Bitcoin is digital gold. Bitcoin ain't going nowhere. BlackRock is investing in it. Fidelity is going to be investing in it. There's going to be a huge infusion of market cap in the crypto world because of that and some other things. So there's a lot of positive information about that. I'm going to drop the video from Raul Paul in the presentation for next week. The week after that, Brother Wayne, you know, it'll be the fourth Sunday. And then the week after that, I'll be in Detroit by way of Dallas.
The fourth Sunday, I will be on retreat in Jamaica.
Okay, that's right. You're going to be on retreat and I'll be in Dallas. So we're not going to have a meeting on the fourth Sunday of this month, but we will be back next Sunday. And then the following weekend, I believe, Wayne will be in retreat. So I'll have to manage it somehow. We'll figure something out. But I'll be in Detroit for the Detroit Jazz Festival. That's the current plan right now. All righty. Anything else for the good of the cause?
Hi, Vince. Good night, Garfield.
Mm-hmm.
Are you referring to the company as in the two men that you had here some months ago promoting all over social media? This platform that is supposed to have some similarities to that of Novatech and was paying anywhere from about 3 to 4% per week. Is that the company?
No, I don't think so. You're talking about funds?
Correct.
I don't think we had folks from funds on. I think the last time we had someone for funds, it was one of the Mooney twins.
Right.
Well, the first time I became aware of the company with that pronunciation was right here on this platform that I met one of the persons promoting it. Is that the same company you're referring to? That now turns out.
Yeah, I'm not sure who you're talking about, but at a point we were talking about funds. They have been involved with funds and side hustle and cash flow. So you know, we were taking a look at that, but you know, since then, we've learned that the platform has not produced. People were requesting withdrawals and they weren't getting money. So we could see that there were some issues, and then we just kind of confirmed that there are problems with the platform, and now, you know, it just basically has completely fallen apart.
In other words, I'm trying to clearly understand. Was this the same company that claimed that you had to lock your funds in for at least 180 days?
Yeah, well, that was funds. I mean, funds was once you put your money in funds, it took 6 months to get it out before you could make a withdrawal. You had to wait 6 months.
Is that correct?
That's why I didn't like it. I mean, I don't want to put my money into something and wait half a year to get it.
Well, if memory serves me right, Wayne, you're correct. I remember you expressing that personal apprehension. But there are other fellow members here who are busy promoting them heavily. Um, I would just say this much, ladies and gentlemen, in light of what's happening throughout the entire crypto environment, separate and apart from us doing our own due diligence, be very careful. Because when you're dealing with platform where they're not registered in the US or they're registered in some PO box in some offshore small island state, and there's no corporate office where you can connect or case in point where you can file summons and complaint to compel its principals and get them before a US Court of Justice. You have to register a company with Dun & Bradstreet. And Dun & Bradstreet, for those who don't know, would be if you are a registered company here in the US and you have any kind of traction in the market, especially historical traction, Dun & Bradstreet is one of those clearinghouses. As also, you can always turn to your state jurisdictional regulatory body. But a lot of these companies are so-called are just fly by night by paper. And all they have to do is to go into social media or get one or two persons to start talking themselves up in the ladder of success. But one of the key questions I think we ought to be asking, whenever a company is purporting to be an investment scheme and providing all these returns, first and foremost, how does the company generate its revenue? If that company cannot demonstrate clear and legitimate how their revenue is discerned, how is it they're going to be able to pay you on your investment? And so when I remember you saying this about funds, I too was very skeptical. In fact, a couple of times after that, I saw the gentleman in question on a couple of platforms, and I just quickly disconnected and left. So I just, even though I was on, I just never heard properly. I just wanted to hear and get clarity. You're saying officially here tonight that that company is a fraud?
Yes, we stopped promoting funds months ago.
Can you shed any light on this other platform, which is referred to as, I think it's a pronunciation of CAM or some CAM? Do you happen to know anything of them?
I don't know
Because
anything.
I'm getting information similarly of what you're describing here of funds. No?
No, I don't know anything about that platform. Well, it's not something that we're recommending on WBC.
Yeah, actually, I signed up for the funds on June 2nd. And since then, they keep putting like every single week, they are putting like 3% for me. And it has been 2 weeks that they changed from 3% to 2.90%. I haven't tried to take the money out because they were like, for a week, they said that there was some problem, nobody can take the money out. But so far I put $380 and now I have like $512, which they every month they take $10 out for membership fee. So I think I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah, well, the truth of the matter, based on what we have been told, is that funds is done.
Okay. So I can take the money out or something?
No, but try, see if you can. I mean, I would try, but no.
Okay.
They've dismantled the entire program.
Wow.
But you might have, you might have a special angel, that will give you access to your funds. You never know. I would try to get my money just to see.
Because they just on August 11th, they add $14.87 in my account.
Well, it's real if you can get it back. But if
Okay.
not, then it is what it is. But we're understanding that the program is done.
Wow. Okay.
Vince?
Good to see that.
Try to get your money out, Dilly. Try
Okay.
to see if you can get it out.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Vince,
Mhm.
shouldn't we be thinking logically that these platforms are targeting us, and the problem seems to be systemic? Shouldn't we be looking at sending a clear-cut message that you cannot dodge on the internet, you cannot hide who you are, and target innocent people or lowering them into this so-called means of making money, and do this under disclaimers? We should be fighting back, and one of the means of fighting back is look at what is now reaching Mr. FTX chairman. If we are prepared to let our voice be heard and speak to or get in contact with the Southern District, every state has a jurisdictional prosecutor. It can't be just we just shake this off and just tell ourselves that's it. I mean, if it's a systemic problem, then we need to understand, people need to understand if they commit these acts any at all of luring people onto these platforms. These are financial crimes, and that they ought to be paying a price.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man, 100%. Carolyn?
I mean,
I'll say this to you.
I hear you, Garfield. However, I think, what happens is that before you join any company, no matter who says what, you are supposed to do your due diligence. And if you don't, this is what happened to Novatech in the first place. I don't know if you were on when Vince was talking about what happened, the meeting that they had on Friday, and what happened with Novatech. It's the complaints. And then what happens is that when there are issues concerning finances, everybody's finances gets seized. Okay. And then you might not even have an opportunity to recover but pennies on a dollar of what you put in. So I'm not sure, I hear you, and I've heard you more than once talk about prosecution, and I understand that you lost a lot of money. However, no matter who says what, even if you get on this Team WBC call and you hear these gentlemen say something concerning different programs, it's up to you to do your homework. Okay, and
Point
so
is
you
well
cannot try to convince, at least not me, to join forces with you, especially not against Novatech. All those other things like funds, I did not join. I didn't join. I don't get on everything. And I think you need to do the same. I'm just saying.
Well, I'll say this much to you. Thanks for your comment. You're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own set of facts.
Well, you
I'm
know what?
someone
Just as you are entitled to yours.
I will say this much to you, that I've worked in this arena of law enforcement for years. And I will say this to you. I am prepared to be patient, but I'm also not willing to be patient losing the sum of well over $500,000. And if it means at the end of the day I'm going to have to lose. I am prepared if I have to go down alone fighting. I'm not looking for leadership. And where there are financial crimes, disclaimers, or due diligence is not an excuse. Ignorance is no excuse to the law. And I suggest for those who are prepared to listen with an open mind, read all of the trap of FTX. Those are not my words. I'm not seeking a loan. I'm prepared to do it alone. Okay? It doesn't give them a right to start a platform within a month, lure investors in, take people's hard-earned money and close the platform and walk away. Those are what you call financial crimes. And if they're assisted and aided by others, they're also subject to US prosecution by law. And there are two aspects to it. You can look at the civil aspect if you so choose to go that route, but on the criminal side, you run the risk, or those who are involved run the risk of their freedom. And this is not an opinion that I'm asking here. Thanks for your kind words, but these are my contribution here tonight. I'm not adverse to taking on investment. In fact, before I go, I'll make it very clear. The platform known as Hyperverse, I became a member in 2021. And within a matter of 3 to 4 months, they rebrand themselves several times with several different names. Once you enter into a contractual arrangement with a party or a number of parties to keep your investors abreast, and all this monkeying around that you see going on with Hyperverse and inviting people to various platforms and creating circuses, I am here to tell people like yourself here, the only reason why Mr. Sam Lee came forward and is now being recognized, and if you read his words, it's because of actions that are being taken like people like myself. And I'm prepared against all odds to ensure that these people face justice. It's not going to be just a walk in the park. And therefore, I'm saying to my fellow members, stand up and let your voice be heard. This is not monopoly money that you're using. And we cannot continue to take a slap on the wrist and just walk away as if it's nothing.
Okay, so.
At the front and center, at the front and center.
Yeah, this.
To the FTX trial. So those who don't know me can be able to identify me. I am fearless. I fear no man. But this must stop.
All right. Well, Garfield, we definitely appreciate your candor and your conviction. Yeah. I want to move towards closing the meeting and just deal with a question real quickly. Someone was asking about the NFT rewards. I think
they closed that out on Thursday, I believe.
Well, the NFT rewards was the cryptocurrency aspect of that. But the NFT rewards, they're going to have a meeting tomorrow. I got a message from Charles Bell during the meeting. So if you're interested in NFT rewards, then you'll need to jump on Jay's Zoom room tomorrow. And I think that meeting, let's see here. I think it is at 8:15. Let me just check right quick. It's 8 o'clock Eastern. No, 7 o'clock Eastern. 7 o'clock Eastern.
No, it's not 7 o'clock. Not 7 o'clock. It would be 8.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm looking at the message that he sent me, and it says August 14th,
That-
2023, 7 p.m. Eastern, US.
Yeah, that's the company update
Okay.
with Robert Craddock and John Austin.
Right.
After that,
Is
on Jay's call, we'll be talking about it all.
okay. All right. So what I'll do is I'll post the link to the 7 o'clock meeting on Telegram, and you'll be able to get it there.
Right, because that's two different links now. One is the company link, and the
Right.
other
I
is
got
Jay's
you.
link.
I got
No,
you.
no, I'm not telling you,
Okay.
Vince. I know you understand.
Mhm.
I'm talking about for the public, everyone else
Right.
to understand. Yeah,
Right. So
because people have confused that. Yeah.
the 7 o'clock meeting specifically with NFT rewards and the company principles will be posted to Telegram tonight. The meeting that Jay has for side hustle and cash flow starts at 8 o'clock. He has his own link for that. So if you want to attend the 8 o'clock meeting, you should already have the link for that. But this special meeting tomorrow at 7, I'll post that link in Telegram. Okay, I hope we're all clear on that. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And we'll see you again on next Sunday. I will be here following Sunday. I think our brother will be in the sunny climes of Jamaica.
Eating sweets and mango.
Yeah, man. Don't rub it in, man. Peace and
All right.
blessings. And
Have one for me, Wayne, while you're there. Think about me.
I'm gonna eat one for everybody on the call.
All right.
There you go.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Take
Thank you,
care.
guys.